All right, for problem C, we have 7p minus 8 equals negative 22. Okay. What do I need to do? I need to get the variable by itself. Something's hanging out. It's the minus 8. It's not touching the variable, but it's in the way. So I'm going to add 8 to get rid of it. Whatever I do to one side of the equal sign, I need to do to the other side of the equal sign. This is gone. Negative 22 plus 8, I'm going toward the direction of 0, toward the direction of positive numbers. Okay, so mixed signs, 22 minus 8. What is that? That's 14. And because the negative 22 is further away from 0, my number is still going to be negative, right? I have not added enough to get to the positive side of things yet. I had negative 22 and I only added 8, okay? And that equals 7p left on the other side, okay? How do I get this p by itself? I need to get rid of the 7. They're married. They're touching with multiplication. Let's get rid of them. Divide them. All right. Divorce them with division. Divide by 7. 7's gone. All right. 7 divided by 7 is 1. That's 1p. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. Negative 14 divided by 7 is negative 2. Okay, so now we have another problem here with parentheses, right? We have a group J plus 40, and it is being multiplied by this 2/5. Okay. Last time we talked about that there was another way to deal with solving problems like this besides the distributive property. We could divide by what's outside of the parentheses to get rid of it, right? But when what's outside of the parentheses is a fraction, we know from 6th grade that dividing by a number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. Dividing, let's write that down. Okay? Dividing by a number is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. In other words, you learned keep, change, flip last year. Okay? So, what is the reciprocal of 2 over 5? Well, it's the flip of that fraction, 5 over 2. So if I multiply, let me not put parentheses, I don't want to confuse you. If I multiply this by 5 over 2, but parentheses just means multiplication, okay? I also need to multiply the other side by 5 over 2. Just do that. Also need to multiply the other side of the equal sign by 5 over 2, right? Now 5 times 2 is 10, 2 times 5 is 10. I'd end up with 10 over 10, right? I could simply cancel this out. This would be 1, 1, 1, 1, right? That just ends up being 1 of this group, which is J plus 40. That ends up canceling everything out, right? I don't need the number 1. We learned that, right, when we end up with our variable by itself when we divide by the number that's next to the variable, the coefficient, okay? This equals negative 4 times 5, right? Whatever I did to this side, I need to do to the other side of the equal sign. So negative 4 times 5, which is negative 20, over, well, there's nothing in the denominator, so that's just an imaginary 1. 1 times 2 is 2, okay? Well, we could simplify this, right? This is negative 20 over 2 is just, a fraction is division. That's just negative 10. Let me just rewrite that. Equals negative 10. Okay? Now, how do I get rid of this plus 40 that's on this side in the way of the variable being by itself? Well, I subtract 40. Whatever I do to one side, I need to do to the other side of the equal sign. And these cancel, and negative 10 minus 40 is negative 50. J equals 50. Okay, and the last problem we're going to work on here is E. 4 times the quantity of W plus 1 equals negative 6. All right? You could do what we did up here, which is divide by the number that's outside of the parentheses. Right? Last time we multiplied by the reciprocal because we had a fraction. Okay? Or we could distribute. Okay? Let's practice the distributing. 4 times W is 4W. 4 times the number 1 is 4. And that equals negative 6. Okay, now how do I get this plus 4? Get rid of that. I subtract 4. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side of the equal sign. This cancels. Negative 6 minus 4 is negative 10. And on this side, I have 4w. And now I need to divide both sides by 4. Both sides by 4. 4 divided by 4 leaves me with 1. And that's 1w. So I'm just going to write w equals negative 10 over 4. 4 goes into 10 2 times, negative 2 times, and what's left is 2 over 4, or negative 2 and 1/2.